I'd like to talk to you today about erectile dysfunction. I'd like to talk to you today about Viagra. If you've had an erection for more than 16 days, I think you better consult your doctor. I'd like to talk to you today about organized religion. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, enough funning around. I wanted to talk to you today about sharing the love. And what I mean by sharing the love, I mean by being grateful to your audience and being thankful and thanking them, you know. That's important in gigging, you know, when you get out there and you're trying to build a following or build, just build a rapport with your audience, and it's just all important. But when I first started off doing the solo thing, well, I had been doing it for a couple years, but then when we moved to the Pacific Northwest up in the Southern Oregon, and we toured all up and down the coast, and Kim, Kim was always with me for the most part, and she would do all my PR for me, which was pretty nice. I was kind of spoiled that way. And so I would just, after the gig, I would just start breaking down, start wrapping up my cords, breaking down, because I just want to get home, or at least get it all broke down and loaded up so I could sit down and have a cocktail or a beer or something and then go home, right? Well, but Kim would always come up to me and say, hey, listen, I'll take care of this. And she knows how to hook my stuff up pretty much. She knows all the chords go, what chords go where, and so she knows how to do it. She goes, let me take care of this. You just go out and do a little PR. I go, baby, I always kind of got myself out of it because it's important. And I don't know if it's just laziness or it's just so much energy, because you do put out so much energy in your performance, whether you're doing 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours, whatever you guys do. And you put out a lot of energy, so you just want to break down when you're done and just basically go home, lay down, watch TV, right? So anyway, but I checked out a couple channels the other day, and there's a few solo guys out there giving, they have like five reasons to do this, and 5 things you need to know when you're solo gigging, and this, that, and the other, and that's all good and dandy. And for the most part, I think most of that stuff out there is some pretty good advice, I'd have to say. But everybody's different. So, for me, to give the love back to the audience, what I do is I kind of do it during my show. Now, there's different ways of going about this, showing your appreciation to the audience, because they remember those things, if you just sit up there and play and do your thing, there's some situations or some gigs, situations where that's not really called for. It could be a very intimate situation. It could be, maybe somebody performing at somebody's, not a funeral, but, a service or something, and you just never know. And then, but it depends on the situation. But for the most part, when you're doing what we're doing, bars and restaurants and lodges and stuff like that, you need to, and I've gotten better at it. I wasn't good at it at first. And like I said, when I was touring the Pacific Northwest, I kind of got out of that and I didn't make her, but I kind of put it off on Kim and let her do the PR work. So, she'd give out my flyer and, my resume thing, my bio. And that's why another thing is I make my bio a full sheet and tells my background, because usually, most part, like I said before, a lot of people don't even read it, which sucks. Some do, but so I figured if I put my business card on a big 8x10 sheet, it's going to be hard for them to lose, and they'll more than likely read it. So that's what I do. I actually make a flyer. I don't use business cards. I think at some point I will get some business cards for like people say I'm talking at a bar or a restaurant or something. I'm not even performing, but we get in a conversation with someone, might have something in common about music, this and that, and you whip out a card. But for me, I'd rather just give them that flyer, give them a nice flyer with my little picture on it and the bio. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. I'm gonna get too sidetracked here. You got to show the audience your love, how much you appreciate and thank them. And you could say it like you're talking behalf of the venue, and some people do that. That's not my thing. I don't really agree with that. Maybe if you have a residence at somewhere and you're playing for a long time, for a while, and you've been there for a year or so, or a couple years or whatever, at that same place, and then you can say on behalf, where the behalf of the venue and myself, we thank you so much, this, that. I just don't do that. What I do is I like to make it more personal. I like to thank them directly and thank you for sticking around and let me bore you for a couple hours. I appreciate that. I thank you a lot, and it just means so much more. And but what I do throw in, which is also important, is you do want to think about the people that hired you in the venue. Is that you want to let them know that you want to give a plug for them. Let your audience know, say, hey, don't forget. I've done that plenty of times. I've done it at the Social, and I'll be back there this summer. I'll tell the audience to make sure you guys, after I'm thanking them or up at the very end, make sure you take care of your servers. Make sure you take care of your bartenders. They work very hard for you. I throw that in there. I'll throw a plug. But when it comes down to thanking, I don't do it on behalf of the club. Some guys do that. I don't. I saw a post the other day. A guy was saying that, but that's his. That's the way he does, and that's okay, and it works. It's not that big of a deal. But for me, I want to thank him personally, and so so I just say thank you, for. Or somebody that comes up and says something or whatever, and you just let them know you give them that love back, because they're giving you love. Your tip jar's filling up. Give them the love back. Let them know how much you appreciate. I wasn't always like that. I was kind of, because basically I'm kind of shy. I just like to do my show, and I've done that even back in the rock star days. I did my show, got off stage, go back, and just get out of there quick and go to a place where I feel not safe, but go to a place where I can relax and breathe and wind down, because we all know how long it takes to wind down after a gig. That's for sure. So so that's what this topic was about. I just want to share that with you. Now, some of you guys out there are veterans, and probably most of you. Some of you guys are just starting off, or you're just kind of green at it, and you've been doing it for a while. So these are just things that I want to share with you. And I'm not saying it's the right way, but that's what I do. I just want to thank. I don't thank on behalf of the club or whatever. I thank them personally, from me to them, and that's that's just how I roll. And it hasn't hurt me, and it's all good. So, but yeah, you really want to, and like I said, and it is important to give the venue a plug. Let those servers know. They'll appreciate you. I've had servers come up and tip me, so they do appreciate, and even bartenders say, yeah, make sure you guys, because a lot of guys, they kind of drop the ball on that. When certain situations when you're hired for a party or something, or a private or I don't know, corporate kind of thing, that's a little bit more money. But I even then I always thank them. I just thank them from my heart to them, and that's what I do. So I'm not saying you have to do it that way, but it's important. But like I said, I didn't always do that. I kind of got out of that. I just kind of wanted to just do it on my own. you know, and just do my own thing, do the music. And I got the love, but, and I would say thank you or whatever, you know, at the beginning when I first started soloing. But, you know, it just, now I really get into, I kind of, well, because I think maybe when I first started off, I was a little bit, didn't have a lot of confidence, because it's a little scary going solo. Yeah, that's what I would do. But now I see that it's important, because you're doing so much for, you're leaving such a mark on them, whether it's memory from the past, from the 70s, you know, because we're usually paying to people our own age, not all the time, you know, sometimes young people, but you know, you're touching hearts out there, you're soothing souls, and you're making smiles for everybody, and that's saying a lot, you know. It's no scam or anything like that. You're not an evangelist or anything like that. You're just giving the truth of what you do and what you know and your skill. And because music is a healer. Music heals in so many ways. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to that. I do have some awesome episodes coming up too. A couple people have asked me about, not a lot, but a few people have asked me about my recording equipment, what I use for my DAW, and I'll give you a quick rundown real quick. But I'll get into detail and bring the camera in and show you what I use. I just use a interface for my desktop. I have a desktop, a tower. It's not that powerful. It's only got 28 gigs of RAM, 24 gigs of RAM, but it's powerful enough. And I use Reaper. I've used a lot of different DAWs, and Reaper is the only one that's never crashed on me. So I gotta give it to Reaper. And it's so, their workflow is just really nice on the thing. I've Pro Tools, Cubase. I can't even tell you how many I've used. And there's a lot of new free DAWs out there too, which they didn't have when I purchased my Reaper. You know, God, it's been probably 8 years ago, something like that. But anyways, so I'll do an episode on that. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below if you do want to hear about how I record my songs. And I'm learning constantly. You know, every time I record a song, I'm going, oh, I got to do that differently. Yeah, that could have been done. You just, so many things you learn, and you know, all your plugins, and I just love DAWs, just the fact that you don't have a bunch of freaking outboard gear, because it takes so much room and all that stuff. But anyways, enough about that. But we'll get into that, you know, later in the year, pretty soon here. And if you guys are interested on what I do, but yeah, I use Reaper. So I've had a few people ask about that. And that's it. Hey, we made it through 22. Clusterfuck 22, we made it through. And I gotta tell you, you know, I don't know if you guys pay attention to the politics and all that stuff, and this is not a political thing, although I like to express some truth once in a while. I mean, when it comes to politics, I'm always truthful about what I do with music. But yeah, things are kind of looking up. The swamp is getting cleaned out. I love it. It needs to be done. It should have been done years, decades ago. But anyway, so yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, just think about giving the love back. You know, sometimes when we're starting off, and this doesn't apply really to the veterans, you music makers have been out there doing it for a long time. It doesn't apply to you guys. You guys got your own thing, how you do that, and I'm sure you address it well. And that's what counts, you know, because it really does come from your heart. So you can kind of do it any way you want. But that's what I do, huh, Banky? Huh? All right, you guys, peace out, and we'll talk to you next week. Come here and say hi to the camera, you big jackass. Look over here. Come on, look there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.